Catholic teaching always true? The Catholic Church is a teaching church, ever faithful to Christ's own explicit teaching and that of his apostles, who were empowered by Christ and by the Holy Spirit to explain and pass on that teaching. What is the Church's magisterium? The magisterium of the Church is its official authority to teach the truths of the faith to all people. It involves the teaching power conferred by Christ on his apostles and passed on through the ages to all their successors, the bishops, in union with the Pope, who is their head. From the Catechism of the Catholic Church, paragraph 890. It is this magisterium's task to preserve God's people from deviations and defections, and to guarantee them the objective possibility of professing the true faith without error. What is the content of the teachings of the magisterium? The Church's magisterium teaches the truths of the faith based on 1. Divine revelation, which comprises sacred scripture, God's revealed written word, and sacred tradition, all the teachings entrusted to the apostles by Christ and the Holy Spirit, and handed down both orally and in written form through the history of the Church to enable us to know what to believe and how to live. 2. Truths discovered and or developed through the ages and based directly on divine revelation. These truths can never contradict divine revelation, but can open it up for our greater understanding of God's revealed truths. See Catechism paragraph 892. Who exercises the Church's magisterium? Those equipped by God to convey his truth in areas of faith and morality are the Pope and the bishops united with him in his teaching about the faith and the moral life. The Pope is the successor of St. Peter, the Vicar of Christ, and the shepherd of the whole Church. From the Catechism, paragraph 882. He has full, supreme, and universal power over the whole Church, a power which he can exercise unhindered. Bishops exercise teaching authority in the Church only if they are united with the Pope. They act as pastors over their own churches. They can also exercise teaching power as a body in an ecumenical council, an event which cannot occur unless it has been approved of by the Pope and its teachings ratified by him. From the Catechism, paragraph 883. The college or body of bishops has supreme, full authority over the universal Church, but this power cannot be exercised without the agreement of the Roman Pontiff. Do we have to believe the magisterium? The Church's magisterium always teaches true doctrine. We know this is so because Christ has given to his apostles and their successors his own teaching and the authority to transmit it in his name. The Church's teaching comes from divine revelation, and therefore can never be in doctrinal error. Dogmas. Some Church teachings are more central to our faith than others. Dogmas are truths contained in revelation which are so important that not to believe them would be heretical and cut us off from the Church. When the Pope or an ecumenical council declare a new dogma, they're using their power of infallibility to say that this dogma is part of revelation. This form of teaching isn't exercised very often. It may come into play when a particular clarification of Church doctrine is needed, either because of some heresy or because there's a special spiritual need for it to be emphasized. Some popes may not exercise this particular category of teaching authority in their whole lifetime. Ongoing teachings. Other truths taught by the magisterium come from the ongoing day-by-day and year-by-year worldwide teaching of the Church in faith and morals. These teachings cannot be in doctrinal error or teach against the deposit of faith, but can sometimes be further clarified or added to. In these cases, the Pope and the bishops in union with him offer a teaching that leads to better understanding of revelation in matters of faith and morals. See Catechism paragraph 892. This teaching must be adhered to with religious assent, which, though distinct from the assent of faith, is nevertheless an extension of it. See Catechism paragraph 892. How can we know when we should believe what a pope says? Sometimes a pope will offer opinions or commentaries on public issues, historical or current. These aren't matters for our belief or agreement. He's not teaching officially in such situations. However, we know that the Pope's magisterium is in action when a formal written document is circulated to the whole Church. Such a document may be issued from one of the Church's departments and signed by the Pope, or it may be written by the Pope, or by another person appointed by him, signed by him and sent out in his name. There are various levels of importance in the teachings of the Pope's ordinary magisterium, but they are all to be accepted by the members of the Church as true, free from doctrinal error, and therefore requiring at least religious assent. Of course, these teachings must be read according to the intention of the magisterium, and not according to the individual or popular interpretation. The following are some of the more important types of magisterial documents. An apostolic constitution is rated as the most solemn document issued by a pope in his own name. Constitutions can define dogmas, but also alter canon law or erect new ecclesiastical structures. For example, Pope Pius XII's Munificentissimus Deus, defining the dogma of Our Lady's Assumption. An encyclical letter is the second most important papal document, exhorting the faithful on a doctrinal issue. Its title, taken from its first few words in Latin, an encyclical is typically addressed to bishops, but intended for instruction of Catholics at large. For example, Pope Francis's encyclical De Lexit Nos, on devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. An apostolic letter is issued by a pope to address administrative questions, such as approving religious institutes, but it has also been used to exhort the faithful on doctrinal issues. Apostolic letters don't typically establish laws, but rather should be thought of as an exercise of the Pope's office as ruler and head of the Church. For example, Pope Francis's Desiderio Desideravi on liturgical formation. A declaration is a papal document that may modify church law or practice. For example, Fiducia Supplicans on the pastoral meaning of blessings. A motu proprio is a decree issued by the Pope on his own initiative. It can enact administrative decisions or alter church law, but not doctrine. For example, Pope Benedict XVI Summorum Pontificum on the use of the 1962 Missal, and Pope Francis's Traditionis Custodes, also on the use of the 1962 Missal. An apostolic exhortation is a formal instruction issued by a pope to a community, urging some specific activity. An exhortation does not define doctrine. For example, Pope Francis's Gaudete et Exsultate on the call to holiness. What are the results of a refusal of church teaching? In 1998, the Dicastery for the Doctrine of the Faith put out an outline of the various levels of belief we're to give to the various levels of magisterial teaching, and the implications of these for our faith life. It says that 1. The obstinate denial or deliberate doubt of dogmas, such as the Articles of the Creed or the dogma of the Assumption, would involve us in heresy. 2. The denial of other important doctrines linked to revelation, for example, denying that priestly ordination is reserved only to men, or denying that Pope Francis's election was valid, would mean that we are no longer in full communion with the Church. 3. The denial of other magisterial teachings presented as true or sure, for example, that the Catechism of the Catholic Church is a sure norm for teaching the faith, or that now the death penalty is inadmissible, would be classed as erroneous and/or dangerous. Catholics who carry out their obligation to attend Mass every Sunday find themselves reciting the Nicene Creed, in which they affirm their belief in one holy, Catholic and Apostolic Church. Whether they realise it or not, they're affirming the wonderful truth that what the Church teaches is holy, always and everywhere true, and that she has the right to teach it, coming through the apostles from Christ himself. They're affirming their faith in the Church's magisterium, the only guarantee of the faith here on earth.